all about.
We can transcend our suffering, transcend the cause of all suffering, attachment, desire.
Oh, okay.
Ego grasping.
That's the Buddhist thing.
That's right, baby.
Birth is suffering. Life is suffering.
Oh, but it doesn't have to be
Sickness
suffering.
and death.
As we were just talking,
It's
two
about
sides
your
of the same
acts.
coin.
It's how you perception,
The
right?
cursed one or the blessed one. All about equanimity. It's non-duality, really. There is
I'm
no
digging what
ego
you're
illusion,
throwing down.
None of that.
Yeah, and we get wrapped up in stuff. Like, there's a lot of negativity rolling around, and it's really about your perception and how you. It's not what happens because you can't control what happens. You can only control how you react to what happens.
Do you think that
Awareness writes
Awareness.
itself.
Focus.
As you see the more efficient path,
Wait, he was saying
you will
something.
immediately write yourself to that efficient path.
Yeah. What were you saying, man?
Do you think that children can suffer because of their parents, and likewise parents can suffer because of their children?
Yes, every day.
Is that a suffering that can be mended?
I believe it's been happening forever.
Do you think that the very opposite of suffering can happen for children because of their parents, and the very opposite of suffering can happen for parents because of their children?
If you're asking me that question, do I think that children could not suffer? No. This is just fucking life, dude. I don't know like any child who would ever like not have any suffering. Let's say you had like the best parents in the world. Let's say your parents were like God and Jesus, and they were just nothing but good to you, which is not in the real world. And then sometimes there's still suffering. I see what you're saying. Like the parents' influence on the child. As far as I know, if you're not an asshole and you're a parent, you try to do the best you can. And the child will always have some sort of suffering. I'm sorry where you're coming from, but I know it too. Like, my mom's a fucking bitch. You know what I mean? So, like,
I don't.
No, but you're
That was a weird thing to have happen.
And you said like it doesn't happen in the real world. Then what world do we find? Do we find ourselves not suffering because of the family that we choose to bring into existence? That we knowingly say, let's two creative forces come together and say, let's start a family, and in the process of that, I can't imagine how many of us come together and say, let's start a family with the idea of let's do it for suffering, I don't think we procreate with the intention of suffering. I mean, we procreate with the intention of loving one another and caring for one another and being there for one another. Even and this is reflected in the vows that people take.
Yes.
In getting married before they even. Yes, and it goes beyond this. But I guess it does start there in a certain way, certain way, shape, and I'm letting them, because I didn't take those vows before procreation, and I think that too in itself may be a reason for why I'm suffering now.
That's not the reason why you're suffering.
You're suffering now.
Oh, yeah.
Hey guys,
Hi.
How you doing?
I can't share the rest of the pizza. I gave him a piece, but the rest is for me tonight, otherwise I die.
Okay.
But can I roll a cigarette?
Absolutely.
Because when I was young, I did roll cigarettes. So, no. I don't want to smoke it. I just want to roll it.
Oh,
I like
very
this.
nice.
This old memories of being young.
Here you are.
No, come on, give me this.
Oh, this one.
Dude.
Here you
My
are.
name is John. Hi, John. My name is Steven.
Hello.
Steven, I want to hear the rest of your
I
conversation.
hope I can.
I live right up the street. I'm going to go home right now, drop off my stuff, and I'm going to come back. I guess I'm in the bed. Because this is more entertaining than me just sitting at home.
So wait a minute. It's probably a bit tricky, but ooh, I didn't roll for years. So, hey, I think you should split it off and make a new one.
Oh,
It's too thick and too.
well, you did awesome.
I could roll one.
Thank you for rolling it. No, she doesn't smoke.
So, and you have a nice evening.
You too.
What amazing eyes!
Oh,
If your mother has this eyes also. So have a good evening.
What's your name?
Namaste. Gabi.
Gabi? Gabi Steven.
And sorry for the padding.
oh no, thank
I
you.
need more practice. I'm probably better in playing tennis than in rolling cigarettes.
It's a great blessing. Ah, very beautiful. No, suffering is caused by yourself alone and by your own attachment, your own desire. If you could release your desire and your grasping, you could have anything in your life fully without any kind of reason for suffering. And that's the reason why people have to renounce certain things, because they grasp so hard. They cannot see through their illusion, through their desire. They cannot see through all of that emotion and dissonance, all that suffering from feeling as if they never have what they need, but they actually always have what they need.
This is part of like passion and long suffering to a certain degree, and it's like I read once upon a time that passion, the supreme definition of the English word passion, translates to suffering. And I said, well, if we're passionate about something, then we're passionate because our need to, the desire to not suffer, because we don't want to suffer. So we're passionate about proactively engaging in what we love because we don't want to suffer. So we follow that suffering to follow the suffering. Or I guess we're continuously working towards getting to a place where we're not suffering. Figuring out whether we can not to suffer.
I'm not sitting here discussing or thinking about what it is that's occurring with consciousness. You can do that with yourself. But for me, I'm telling you what's happening with consciousness. I'm telling you right now, what's causing the suffering right now is your attachment, your desire, and your grasping, and your inability to accept yourself fully and then express yourself fully and see the perfection that is your being, because you are so attached to these stories of falsity. I mean, you're telling me that maybe you didn't take vows is possibly the reason for now. It's not about this. This is a judgment of the past, thinking that, hey, maybe there's something I did wrong. You have done nothing wrong. You have done everything exactly right, exactly as you were meant to do. And here you sit, exactly where you're meant to sit, as you will always be in any moment that you're ever in, as so is everything entirely.
Water. Are you interested? Like a 6-pack or like 8-pack bottled water?
No thank you. Oh, did you?
I would be interested in a 6-pack of water.
Oh, excuse me, ma'am.
I'd be interested in some water.
You want them?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll bring them.
Thank you.
Very nice.
Water is good.
Yeah, water is life. We have a lot of water, that's why we turn it down.
I'm down for that.
We keep many gallons with us.
The bottom of my bottle here.
I seem to need a lot of water every day.
Yeah, we all do.
Yeah.
We all do.
Yeah, I channel a lot of
this is,
energy. Oh,
this is, you know, this is,
oh, it's a whole big amount. I think it's a lot more than 6. Looks more like 10 or 15 or maybe even 20. So it's nice.
so it's,
Plenty
you
of
know,
water for life.
You know, it,
Wow.
Yeah, it is a lot more than I thought.
Yes, yes.
All right. You're welcome. Have a good day.
yeah,
Thank
as
you.
well. So, and like, I can read this and you could listen, you know, but this is just like, you know, just some simple like writing that I was, I don't want to say it's like writing, but it's like blending in a way to a certain degree. Oh, yeah, so it begins with it begins with a misery. I don't even think that's the right word, but I would usually say that it begins with a mystery. But I wouldn't call her a mister. She's a miss. So, is it a misery? Is it a mystery? A misery? Or is it a miserable?
Miserable.
A miserable? It begins with a miserable.
Miserable.
Is not to be confused with a misery. She's a miserable, and I'm a mystery. Well, and that, you know, and that it begins with a miserable question. That is not here, as you can see. It's missing.
Hey, bro.
See that it's missing.
It's good. How are you, man?
Pretty good.
Good to see you.
Can you see?
Nice shirt.
Can you see that it is missing from the top corner?
Yeah.
And that is the miserable.
Ah.
Miserable. And, well, that is akin to asking the question, and why is it that you feel the immediate involuntary response to capitalizing the Q in the question? And this is just me writing, and I immediately capitalized the Q in the question. Why? It was like an involuntary response of writing. It wasn't necessarily the format in which I was taught. But I had to stop and ask myself that question. I said, Breeze, where are you at this very moment, and why? Well, as I was writing this, I'm in Makawao, Hawaii, on the island of Maui, searching for myself. Are you Willow Breeze? I am Stephen, and she is Stephanie. What of the knowledge of creation that is Connor, as you would have called him Sky? Well, that is a Stephen Kinney branch. Who is Azai? Who is Azai? Oh, Azai. Well, you mean Aza. Aza is to Stephen as Stephanie is to Azalea. Only they present two of my greatest interests in the existence of our pursuits at finding true love, which includes happiness. Where does this put Connor? Well, it puts Connor as Sky at the very center of the universe of creation. Now, why do you capitalize on creation, and why? Well, Connor said, hey, do you? Or do you? He knows me more than his mother does, and this I am only just realizing. She would not give me the opportunity in the sense, and he sensed this before we decided to take on the arduous task of entering into this world through the birth canal. I don't know what it's like to give birth to you, to bring a child into this world through the womb. I don't know what that's like for you.
I'll leave it to your assumption. See that you have an intelligence about you. Commonsensical in nature.
All I can say is oh, it's Tara, well done. Ara, and she is Aralia. And who is he? Well, he is her, and he is me, so he is us. Who is us? The creator and the creation is who we are. Well, I'm not perfect. I still smoke weed. It's not a weed. Well, then what is it? A weed is what you pull out of your garden. What does a weed get? How does a weed get into our garden?
I said I'd be back.
By failing to honor the intelligence of our creator to the creation. How did I get to be God?
You got poetry.
How did we get to be gods? Goddess Aaliyah knows. Well then, who is A? Alphan is to Alphani, or is it Athan is to Aphani? Well, Griefin is to Grayfin, is Will is to Willia. Yes, but why the double L? Why not Wilfin to Brulia, and why not Briefin to Wilfiny?
What are these? This into that.
Well, these two could definitely work out. Wouldn't you agree? I would, and I will, and I do. I am not breeze, for I am not perfect. If I was or am perfect, which I am and we are most certainly not, then there would be nothing left for us to do. There would be nothing right for us to do. And then we would only be wrong in being perfect to begin. Gris, who is she, and why does she make sense?
Who is she and why does she make sense?
Because in that moment when I got to that point, I met this woman named Amber, and I had to share a story with her about ambergris, and I was like, ambergris,
yeah.
ambergris, and I'm like, Amber, and I told her the story of ambergris, and I'm like, well, Gris, who is she and why does she make sense? Because what do we do with ambergris?
That's fucking brilliant.
What do we do with
dude.
ambergris?
Make light. They make candles and light. They
And-
burn it.
and-
They
and-
burn it.
But we also
Makeup?
make scents like perfumes and
Yeah.
colognes. Some of the best in the world are made
Oh,
with
why does
ambergris.
she make sense? Like
Why does
SCE
like,
and
sense,
Ah,
right?
you're
How
killing
do
me.
you make sense?
I'm the double entendre. This man is poetic to the poetic.
So, well, is she your type? She is very sweet and kind. However, if I am Bertie, then if I am Bertie, then I like your jacket. I like your jacket, however perfectly imperfect it may be. So who is Alberta? Certainly not just the muse, as Giordano would have put it when I spotted the freckle on her arm. She didn't have a proper swim with me as she so looked to you for approval upon our first dip into the waters. I will allow farms. Huh? I will allow. It sounds like I'll allow, or is it owl? I'll allow. And
I
yet,
like your play on words.
And yet-
sir. I'm a poet myself, and your play on words is like, and it's so tricky that people might miss it.
yes, but
But
you're
that
picking
means
up
it's
on
good.
it, and you can pick up on it as you see how they're arranged in alphanumerical order according to the ways in which
time.
yes, and yet the fruit bat calls me out on this one.
You know what's very brave?
I like both, and so does she. there's nothing wrong with that when we are gods and goddesses. And does this make us any less? Well, not if gods are goddesses and goddesses are gods, for which we are both male and female. And so then, what is Amanda's age?
I have to sit this way because that's my deaf ear. I can hear you now.
Does anybody know what Amanda's age is?
Amanda is like 472 years old.
Whoa.
Which Amanda?
Amanda Sage.
Amanda Sage. That sounds like a stripper.
She's a painter, a transcendental visionary.
Oh, like an
painter.
actual person. I thought you were thinking of Amanda Sage. I don't know.
But what is Amanda's age? She seems so old and ancient.
This thing is way too
Well,
full.
well, she is ancient
Yeah,
like
that looks
me,
super full, bro.
and I
we'll
like
have to-
her.
Yeah, are we gonna be able to hit it?
Take
Man?
a shovel and
She is
That's the
ancient like
thing.
me,
Like, you
and
can't
I
even rip
like
I gotta get some
her.
air in that mother.
I like her.
Yes, sir. I
Well
like your
then,
thing. You look like Santa.
know, man,
Tiger,
it's
where
nice,
where
right?
is
Did
this
anyone else ever
tigress?
tell you that today?
No,
She
man,
is on
that's
the
the first person I told me
visionary
that at
art
all.
train.
I've been telling myself
Where
that
are
ever
you?
since I saw it. Because
I'm
I'm
on
like,
there
sure,
as
this is
well.
a Santa outfit like
She would not
nobody's
leave me
business.
behind in any way,
My Christmas
shape,
material months ago.
form,
Almost.
or the like, as I am going through
plan
this
ahead.
process of.
Yeah, I got my bag stolen from me, and this person
or
brought
memes
down
is
all
what
this
it
stuff from
comes
the
like.
free box downtown in
Yeah,
Mount
just
Shasta when I
memes.
went out there recently.
Whether it be Brazil,
And so it was one of the
Breeze,
things that they
Steven,
brought down.
Kenny,
It's so nice.
Breeze,
oh my
Kenny,
God, this is awesome.
Ozza,
And I got
or
new
any
bags
other.
given to me, and I got new stuff given to me too.
I'm
and
a
I was-
unique
good
signature
to go. I
like
was
no
actually
other,
better off than
and this
before. I
makes
was like,
us
wow.
original.
Man. It's
It's
what he's
amazing.
talking about.
Well then, Ozza, if you are like no other, then how do you
Round comes
propose
round.
to find your other? By admitting that I
I'm not
am
even
like
kidding.
another,
Like, people's
and
like,
she
pass
is
around,
perfect
pass
for
around.
you, as I am perfect for her. For it is without one another that we are imperfect. Is that her brilliant way of saying that she is not perfect because she is still within Nathaniel? Is she calling Nathaniel a weed? Are you sure it isn't the acrobat that you're in love with? The way that she looked upon him as if he could be ours. She wouldn't turn us down, for how could she? She knows as well as I do how much I shall love us all. Her,
If we
me,
fall down, just roll.
him. Oh,
You're already wet or else
She is
Yeah, I don't give a
calm.
shit. But it's actually good for the back. There was a little crack there.
Oh, raw fingers. sometimes.
Raw rows this boat to the shores
Roll
of
with it.
I learned that falling as a kid
Korea?
on snowboard. Saved my life for like every other fall for the rest of my life.
Roll with it.
I hit this curve on my
Kal-
bike. I was going
Kalia.
downhill.
There was no
It didn't have a
question
curve
mark.
for
It
some
was
reason. I
Kalia.
saw the cones, but I was like, whatever. And then, boom, front tire went in. I rolled though.
Do you feel that she may
Thank
be
God.
the one
You
to,
remind me of me when I was 15.
to row even
I'm not
further
kidding.
to the shores of
I mean, I'm not saying you're 15.
Yeah,
Lithuania?
it's cool, man.
Lithuania.
No, I'm
It's
a
a
fan.
rejuvenation.
Oh, the child, right? You know, this-
I've got an even better one. How's about we create the shores of Lithuania?
Lithuania?
Lithuania.
What the fuck is that?
Lithuania.
Is that like Lithuania?
No, it doesn't have to be.
Lithuania.
It
Lithium?
doesn't have to be. It can be whatever we want
Did
it
you
to
make
be.
up Lithuania?
Lithuania.
I want to
not
marry
without the
some
help
chick
of-
named Lithuania.
Is this where he says,
get
"Do
back to
you? Do you?" Is this where he says, "Yeah, do you? Do you believe in the possibilities, or are you asking me if she's ever going to? She's ever going to lie? Lie to her? I know. Of course, she is enough. Only we enjoy our.
Enjoy our.
Our abilities to keep drinking, so that we shall name it together. Can Stephen ever be with Kalia then?
That's a good co-pilot right there. Oh.
Can Steven ever be with Kalia again? It's a cliffhanger. I want to know.
Right after this commercial.
Only if we call this ganja or marijuana, cannabis sativa, cannabis indica, and not weed.
Yes, yes, and yes. Words are words. Names are names. The thing is the thing.
The thing is,
The word is what you call it. A lot of people call the same thing different things. It doesn't mean the thing changes.
would Kalia ever
Do you
be
need
with
this? Or
Steven,
you have a
or
button?
should only or should we only be friends with Breeze because of sort out your love life, mate. These are the words of Alberta as she lends some intuition from the United Kingdom, or better yet, Scotland.
Oh, good catch.
Scotland.
That's so awesome.
Ask yourself this question: Do you know of the first admittance of your love for any of these others than Kalia? Well, if it is an admittance, then you must feel as though you have done something wrong. No, and yet would it be better than that I confess my love? Well, you can always learn to show her. I could tell her, however, I wouldn't tell on her.
Thank you, girl.
How do we, I must admit that I do love you. Well, if you're admitting to loving me, then you must think that loving me is wrong. Well, shit, is it better that I confess that I love you? Or if I'm confessing that I love you, you must feel like you're doing something
Profess.
wrong. Well,
You profess your
no,
love.
If I
You do not
profess
admit?
my love, but
Yes.
I am no pro yet.
Dude, okay, every
So how
line
can
in
I make
this-
a promise if I am not a professional? If I am not pro yet, then how can